Hi everybody, Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets.
Hi everyone, we have a big day on Saturday at Santa Anita. 6 graded stakes races, so let's jump right to it and start talking about the very first stakes race of the day. It's the Grade 2 San Carlos, race number 4. Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park have partnered this weekend for a cross-country promotion, and there will be 2 Pick 5 races, Pick 5 sequences, I should say, that will encompass dirt racing at both tracks, Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park, and also turf racing. I bring it up right now because the San Carlos is the first leg of the coast-to-coast all-dirt Pick 5. It's a $1 wager, 12% takeout. That's about as low as it gets. It's a good, solid wager and an interesting sequence. It starts with the San Carlos, then we go back to Gulfstream Park for the Gulfstream Mile, back to Santa Anita for the San Felipe, 3-year-olds going a mile and 1/16th. Back to Florida for 3-year-olds in the Fountain of Youth. And then the wager closes out with the Santa Anita Handicap. And a horse that I think is a potential single in the Pick 5. And we'll talk about the Santa Anita Handicap a little bit later on today in the last sequence, the last of 5 segments regarding these 6 stakes races on Saturday at Santa Anita. So it's the San Carlos is the very first race in the sequence, and it's the very first graded stakes race on the Santa Anita Saturday card. It's race number 4. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lineup for the San Carlos. Race number 4, Brickyard Ride on the inside. He will be tough if he starts. So will 8 Rings and Cezanne. The one name that is missing from the lineup, and we would be remiss to at least not mention him, Flightline was expected to start in the San Carlos, and he would have been fun to watch run. He's arguably the most brilliant sprinter in California, but he suffered a recent setback, a strained hock, and he has been out of training for coming up to close to 3 weeks. He is expected to resume training this weekend, if not perhaps a couple days later. But anyway, Flightline had a setback. The brilliant 3-for-3 speedball not entered in the San Carlos, but we have a good field anyway. In fact, the absence of Flightline probably helps this race from a betting standpoint, because I doubt we would have 9 runners in the San Carlos if Flightline was in the field. Now, this race is a little tricky to dissect 2 days out, because the most probable winner in this race is not a confirmed starter. And I'm referring to number 1, Brickyard Ride. Brickyard Ride won the San Carlos a year ago. He subsequently tailed off, but this winter at Santa Anita, he has been dynamite. He won the Cal Cup Sprint by open lengths in his comeback on January 15th. And then last time out, it was less than 2 weeks ago, Brickyard Ride stretched out to a mile. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the Tisnow Stakes and Brickyard Ride. Can he carry his speed? You better believe he can. He ran this field off their feet. He was the 3-5 favorite against an overmatched group of Calbreds, and Brickyard Ride opened up and he was gone. He had to work a little bit early because somebody went after him into the first turn, but Brickyard Ride opened up, and jockey Juan Hernandez, he knew he had the race won. He wrapped up on Brickyard Ride, and Brickyard Ride strolled home to win by more than 7 lengths. Now, he came out of the race as if he didn't even run. It was more like a workout for Brickyard Ride, but he's coming back in 2 weeks. He drew the inside post, and trainer Craig Lewis will wait until Saturday morning before he makes a decision whether or not to start Brickyard Ride. He's been invited to a rich race in Dubai. And last weekend, trainer Craig Lewis had a lot of misfortune with the unfortunate breakdown of Warren Showtime, his top Calbred mare, I should say. So there's a lot of moving parts with regards to a decision on whether or not Brickyard Ride starts. If he does start, I think Brickyard Ride is the most probable winner of the San Carlos. He's the quickest in the field. He has seemingly overcome his tendency to be a little bit slow from the gate. And I only bring it up because he's drawn on the inside. I don't think there's a horse in here who is as quick as he is. The only other horse who might be able to pressure him early, and he very well could, is number 5, 8 Rings. 8 Rings is one of 2 Bob Baffert trainees in this race. And you know what happens often when Baffert has more than one starter in a race. He sends one of them on a suicide mission to set it up for the other one. It happened last year in the Kona Gold. We'll talk about that race in a couple minutes. And who knows if it will happen again this year, because 8 Rings does have a forwardly placed style, whereas Baffert trained Cezanne rallies from behind. I don't think that Johnny Velasquez on 8 Rings is going to go after Brickyard Ride early. I just don't see that happening, but it wouldn't be the first time. I bring it up because I could be wrong about that. Maybe 8 Rings is the suicidal rabbit to set it up for Cezanne. But 8 Rings is a good horse in his own regard. And in fact, he should love the turn back from 2 turns to 7 furlongs. Let's take a look at his 3rd place finish 2 starts back in the Squall. It was on opening day, and 8 Rings down along the inside, setting the pace. A mile and 1/16, probably a little too far for him, at least against this caliber of company, because that's Hot Rod Charlie breathing down his neck on the outside, and 3 wide on the outside is none other than Express Train, who will blow past them both. And 8 Rings ran well in defeat. He was simply 3rd best. I bet on him that day. He was 6-1. I thought he was a good price, a good gamble. He was 3rd best. He cuts back on, he subsequently, I should mention this, he ran 3rd again in that was the San Antonio. He ran 3rd again in the San Pasquale in early February, going a mile and 1/8. Now he's cutting back to 7 furlongs. Express Train is. He has a forwardly placed running style. And if Brickyard Ride does start, I believe that 8 Rings will sit 2nd behind the speed. If Brickyard Ride scratches, 8 Rings is the potential controlling speed in the San Carlos. So either way, with or without Brickyard Ride, I think 8 Rings is a must use on the coast to coast all dirt pick 5. Okay, we talked a little bit about Cezanne and what happened a year ago in the Kona Gold. It was a race in which Axeman was the suicidal rabbit, and he went after Brickyard Ride early and set it up for Cezanne. Let's take a look at last year's Kona Gold Stakes, in which Cezanne is going to cut the corner inside. That's Brickyard Ride 2 wide and Axeman 3 wide. Axeman's backing out of it. He did his work early, took care of Brickyard Ride, who was unable to hold off Cezanne. Cezanne got the ideal setup this day. He won easily here into 106 Beyer speed figure in a race that was ready-made for his closing style. They went 21 flat, 43-3, and Cezanne took advantage of that hot pace and the setup by his stablemate, Axeman, to win going away. Then Cezanne disappeared. He completely disappeared, and we did not see him again until January in the Palos Verdes. He finished kind of a lackluster 3rd, but since then, Cezanne has trained well, and he's trained well in company with some very good horses, including Spielberg and Under the Stars. And I would expect Cezanne, who finished 3rd in his comeback as the odds-on favorite, I expect him to move forward 2nd start back. So it's a race, the San Carlos, in which you're going to have to wait until Saturday morning to do all the rest of your handicapping, because we won't know until then if Brickyard Ride starts or not. If he does, I think Brickyard Ride can be long gone. Either way, I'll be doubling the race at least, using a Brickyard Ride and 8 Rings. 3rd choice in the race, in my opinion at least, is the closing 5-year-old Cezanne. It's race number 4 on Saturday at Santa Anita. It's the first leg of the coast to coast all dirt pick 5. Make sure you get involved.